Short and sweet tonight since we just got off stream. We're going to get right to it. Washington lost 13-6 to the Miami Dolphins in preseason week number 2. Ugly, nasty preseason game. This is Washington Commanders post-game Raw. Let's get it.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
All right. Thank you to the people who tuned into my watch party tonight between the Dolphins and Commanders and one of the ugly, most long-winded, and non-productive preseason games I've seen in quite some time. Washington lost 13-6 to the Miami Dolphins. The starters, let's get to it. The starting offense ran a 2-minute drill, no huddle type offense for 2 drives in a row. Jayden Daniels was 10 of 12 for 78 yards. Jayden looked sharp. The offense looked fine. I think there would have been a more sense of urgency in a regular season game. One drive stalled out due to a penalty, and the other drive, the kicker missed a field goal. Jayden looked good. There's not too much to even say about the starting unit. Jayden looked good. B-Rob and Eckler ran hard. Other than that, the kicker was the main thing. The kicker, and let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. Tua was 5 for 5 for 51 yards and a touchdown. He threw a touchdown to someone named River K. Crowcraft, or I don't even know who the hell the receiver is. For the second week in a row, one of our starting cornerbacks was beat for a touchdown versus a bubble roster wide receiver. That game was boring. It was terrible. We only saw 2 drives of Jayden like they told us we were going to get, but let's talk about what we can. Let's get in, get out, call it a night. Let's move on to week 3, which we're going to get another nasty week like this next week because nobody's going to play next week. But guys who stood out to you tonight, Jayden is obvious. I don't even have to say that. We're not even going to talk about any of the starters. Jahan Dotson had 1 catch. He only had a couple targets. One of the passes sailed over his head on the left side of the field. But Luke McCaffrey flashed a little bit. Ben Sinnott flashed a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. Michael Wiley, again, looks like he's going to be the certified number 3 running back for this team. I think he's going to get the spot after Brian Robinson and Michael Wiley. I think Chris Rodriguez Jr. is cooked. Jamin Davis made the play of the day. Strip sack that was recovered by Andre Jones. He's starting to get his footing and find his footing as an edge rusher. Andrew Wiley, it's either he's hurt or he's getting a penalty. He killed our second drive after the offense was moving up the field again. We haven't seen Jayden go out and have a drive that was stalled yet. We have not seen Jayden Daniels come out and have a drive that was forced to punt or 3 and out. Every drive he's got out there so far, he's made some shit shake. So impressive so far. Andrew Wiley got a holding call that blew a drive. That pissed me off. Benjamin St-Juste getting beat on a touchdown. I didn't see much of Emmanuel Forbes out there today, so he must have did his job, like my man NFL Ransom said. As far as linebackers are concerned, we haven't even seen Washington starting linebackers play in unison yet. Bobby Wagner obviously is going to sit all of preseason. He's a GOAT. He does not need to play in the preseason. Frankie Louvu, every time you see him on the field, he's flashing. He's all over the football. Fadarian Mathis, a guy I'm very critical about all the time on this channel. I say all the time, what is he even doing? He was here to be a space eater. The only space he's been eating up is on the roster. He was in the backfield plenty tonight. He was in the backfield a bunch of times. He was in on tackles. He was in on a sack. Baller. Jamin Davis, I can't mention it enough that he had the play of the day. We didn't make many plays today. There was not much of excitement going on today. That was a very meh as preseason. That was the epitome of preseason football. Diami looks good. He looks sharp. Diami looks poised to start. That's another observation. I think Diami is the starting receiver opposite Terry. I think we're going to make a little bit too much semantics about who the starting receivers are going to be. Remember, In Cliff Kingsbury's air raid offense, there are a lot of 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets. So we're going to see all these guys out there together for most part. Someone who did not look good today, but to be expected, Martavis Bryant, he dropped the pass. Mitchell Tinsley dropped the potential game tire or game-winning pass. He dropped a couple passes today. Not a good day to be a wide receiver at the end of that room. So it's looking like the wide receiver room is shaping out to be Terry, Zacchaeus Ndiami, Dotson, Luke McCaffrey, and then who? Jamison Crowder, because he's a returner. I don't think Tremaine makes the final roster. I'm not sure he makes the final roster. Mitchell Tinsley's not making the final roster. Oh, Casimir Allen, someone who did not do themselves any favors today in a promising drive. Casimir Allen puts the ball on the ground. That's a no-no for a roster guy. You haven't seen any of the games today. I promise you, Mr. B, you've missed nothing. You did not miss anything that happened on a football field today. I tell you, we had more fun in the chat than we did watching that game because we watched a quarter of Trace McSorley. Yep, Sinich dragging Bama's again. He never goes down at first contact. Him and Luke McCaffrey both had a first down catch or two. We're not going to find too much. Davian Davis also getting cut. It's going to be 5. It looks like it might be 5 receivers, guys, because I don't really see the purpose for 6. There's not 6 guys that we need to keep on this roster. B-Rob looks faster. He looks a little, I won't say slim or trimmer, but he looks explosive. He looks like a guy that's going to get more than the 32nd ranked in rushing attempts this year. Kaz Allen had the dropsies last year. He puts the ball on the ground Antonio Gibson style this year. That's not going to cut it, my boy. But it's people mistakes. But like, yeah, that's all. Yeah, when all you do is make mistakes, you rarely make a play. You got to call it out. I know. I'm trying to shoot some guys some bail. I'm trying to give some people the benefit of the doubt. But there was just not a lot to take from today's game. Like, we need to get to the regular season. Next week's going to be a hard watch. I got to bring out all the one-liners and the jokes for the stream next week because literally the only thing interesting about next week's game is like Drake May playing against our defense. Cole Turner, cooked, my boy. Cole Turner's not going to make this roster, guys. Our tight end position is set at 3, and the 3 is going to be Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, and John Bates. I don't even think it's much of a conversation, man. The streams will be aplenty this season. Every game that I'm not at the stadium, and I don't think I'm going to be there too much this season, I'll be going live. The vibes will be fire. But you can say a lot of negative things today. It's very hard to find positive. Michael Wiley is a baller. Every time he's on the field, he does. Castro Fields, yep, Joe the Hat. Castro Fields looks sharp in the secondary. Not much of anything else is sharp. Jeremy Reeves was having a bad game and then had a stinger. It looked like he got a stinger. Hopefully it's nothing more. Hopefully there's no nerve damage or no structural damage to his shoulder. He went to crack somebody across the middle of the field. And I know what it looks like when a guy gets a stinger. It looked like he caught a stinger in his shoulder. I hope he's all right because that's our best special teams player. That's our best special teams gunner. And he's depth at the safety position. Houston has to cut some receivers. They have a deep receiver room. We're second on the waiver wire. We got to grow. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. That's a great point. Van Negro Jones is hilarious. We are second in the waiver wire. We had the second worst record last year. So when it comes to claiming, we got the priority. It's Carolina then us. It's Carolina then us in the waiver wire. So, yeah. I'm not even watching the game next week. I'm just going to pull up to the string and hang out. The game's going to be so ass. Tyler Owens. There we go. He's the dude in the every summer we get a summer legend. We get a summer guy who stands out and stands on his own amongst the rest of the roster. That big boy, number 40 at safety. Oh, and by the way, once you make the final roster, we got to get you up out of number 40, my boy. That's a nasty number. We got to get you something with a little more drip, a little more finesse to it. He's a safety with cornerback speed and a linebacker body. He's everywhere the ball is. Whenever game tackling takes place, he has his helmet and his pads near the football. Love to see it. But let's go deeper into this fucking kicker situation. Riley Patterson, the kicker we brought in and kept over Ramses Ahmed, who was looking better in the preseason and in practice. We, for some reason, kept Riley Patterson. I guess we thought he was the proven commodity, the guy who's played more football in his career. He has now missed 3 fucking field goals this preseason. He is 2 for 5 in the preseason. That is an issue, guys. What the hell are we doing at the kicker position? We need to call Harrison Mevis. Hannah mentioned bringing in Brian Johnson if he doesn't have work. Everybody that is on the streets that has kicked a football in an NFL game before needs to be contacted, because this is bad. This is bad. This is embarrassing. And we can't go into week 1 with Riley Patterson. Riley Patterson should not be allowed to get on the team playing back, because 3 missed field goals in the preseason is abysmal. It's putrid. Can't have that in this league. We win this game if that clown made his kicks. Hell yeah, because then we're kicking a field goal at the end, even though I don't really care about winning the game, but yikes. We cut the kicker that made all of it. I know. We cut the guy that actually made. Yeah, we got to get him the fuck out of here, man. Ryan Suckup, somebody got to get in here, man. Somebody going to cut a kicker next week, and we need to pounce. We need to be right on that shit. We need a picker desperately. Robbie Gould is available, I think. Bring him. I mean, that's what Tua do, though. Tua's an MVP candidate, you know. Just like y'all, we don't have all our starters playing yet. He made it look easy versus our starting defense, cut through us like Swiss cheese, and got the ball right down the field in 7 plays. In and out, touchdown, fade ball to River Craycraft, whoever the hell that is, called a touchdown over Benjamin St. Juste. I need the French Canadian to go back and look at the tape and say never again, because why are we getting touchdowns caught versus Carl Salesman? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing, guys? As far as quarterbacks go, other than the starter, Mariota and Hartman were out this week. Jeff Driscoll, he had another Lamar Jackson sighting where he had a big run. We weren't able to get much done in the passing game, but he's looked solid once again. Trace McSorley, it's hard to watch Trace McSorley play football. That's why I was kind of laughing when people were getting hyped when we signed him the other day. It was really hard to get through that. KJ Henry continues to flash as an edge rusher. Continues to flash. There's something to KJ Henry. He may not start on this football team, but he's going to be one of our pass rush specialists, third down specialists, because he gets pressure. He's going to always get pressure. He may not always get home. He may not always get to the quarterback, something we're very used to over the years here, but KJ Henry flashes every time. Joey Slide, come back home, baby girl. We need to stand outside Joey Slide's window with a boombox over our head like, please, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Come back home. Because the Patriots have a starting kicker correctly, so they don't need him. We need to get a kicker from DC United. Hey, my boy Evan Newton, former professional football player from the area, 757. He's retired. Bring him, Evan. Tell your agent to call our people. Meet them over at Ortho Virginia Training Center. We need a kicker so freaking bad. My goodness. But yeah, it was the Dolphins, guys. I expected their ones to look better than our ones. It's the Miami Dolphins, man. When the sun's out, when they're at home, when the weather's nice, they're almost an unbeatable football team. But this was just a nasty preseason game. We're about to wrap this up in 7 minutes. We're keeping this at 20 minutes because the longer I talk about it, the more I feel like I need a shower, because that was a dirty ass football game. You and Louis got to prep our fan base to lose off of missed field goals and extra points this season. If Riley Patterson is the starting kicker for this team going to the season, we are fucking doomed, guys. Oh my God. I can see it now. JAYDEN leads the team on a spectacular game-winning drive. After all the odds were stacked against us, he gets us into field goal territory, and then Riley Patterson trots his bum ass on the field. And from 38 yards, shanks a field goal left at Commanders Field, and Washington loses to the Giants or some shit. We're going to riot. That man ain't even going to be allowed back in the city. That man's going to be a flight risk. It's going to be bad for the kid if that happens during the regular season. Joey Sly, I apologize for all the slander. We will take you back with open arms. Yes, come back home, our glorious king. Gronk kicks better than Patterson is hilarious. Are we running? Oh, no, someone said, are we running vanilla defense? Let me find that one. Are we running vanilla defense and offense, or are we struggling? We're definitely not struggling on offense. Our offense has moved the ball on every possession. Jayden went up for a touchdown last week. We got right down the field this time, and then we had to kick a field goal. And then we converted the last time, but then we got a holding that threw the drive away. The offense looks good. But the defense, yes, we're running a lot of vanilla stuff. And we're not even seeing, like, Payne, Allen, and Wagner, the whole heartbeat of the middle of the field for this team, we haven't seen them play yet. So we don't even know what Joe Witt's defense looks like. We haven't seen much of Michael Davis, who's our other starting cornerback. We're not seeing much of Jeremy Chin. Don't be too convinced on what you're seeing right now, guy. We haven't even seen the crux of what this is going to look like September 8th at Tampa Bay yet. Allen, Payne, and Wagner are the entire middle of the defense. Jeremy Chin is our starting strong safety. We're not even seeing these guys out there. We're only seeing Dorrance Armstrong and Cleveland Farrell, who are going to start on the edges for a couple plays here and there. We haven't seen it all come together yet, guys. So don't take too much from what you see in the. I know we're excited. We're desperate to get the football season. Come on now. It's a Saturday night, and we're sitting here talking about a Commanders Dolphins preseason game. I love the fandom. I love the passion, but that was a nasty football game, guys. Let Mark Mosley kick. I'm sure he still could. Daniel Jones owns what the Commanders used to be. Let's get that correct. He does not own this current variation. Jayden Daniels poise. He moves like a veteran. He carries himself like a veteran, and you can see why the locker room has fell in love with the guy already. He's going to go for 25. He's going to have to go for 25 or 30 points a night to compete. I don't think the defense is going to be bad. The defense is going to be much improved when we see our full unit get out there in the regular season. On the first run, Jayden kept it on the option. I wish he got down quicker and didn't allow himself to get tackled, but learning lesson. But I'm not tripping, y'all. Jayden looks great. Like, I'm not worried about the offense at all other than at right tackle. I think right now, I wish Cornelius Lucas could start at right tackle over Andrew Wiley because he's a liability at that position. He's either holding or he's hurt. It's one of the above, and he's never producing. Like, we need something over there. That Caleb throw to Odunze was crazy. That was fine. I loved Caleb. I think I'm rooting for all these guys in this draft class. It might be special. Did Forbes call out the fan base? I won't say he called out the fan base, but he definitely can see our tweets, and he definitely sounds like a guy who sees our tweets. I don't want to see Forbes calling out anybody. Forbes needs to call out to his fucking hands and make sure he can get them up when the ball is thrown his way. You don't get burnt for touchdowns versus receiver sevens and then call out the fan base. We were here before you. We're going to be here after you, and you need to make yourself a starter here before you call out anybody. But I'm not mad at a little pushback, but Forbes just has to show up in the regular season. Like, we don't even know if you're a starter right now, so please don't call out the fan base, sir. I did see his interview with Brian Colbert Jr., though, but we didn't hear his name called tonight, so it was a good night for Emmanuel Forbes. Quiet night for Jahan Dotson because we didn't do much offensively. We were throwing a lot of horizontal and short passes, and we were running 2-minute drill offense. We're getting ready to wrap this stream up because I don't want to talk about this game too much longer. We have one more preseason game left. Captain Insano Ridgeway, he got in on a sack tonight. He was in the backfield. He was making things happen. Him and Fedarian Mathis and the other guy, I want to say his name was like Mbusi. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. They were getting constant pressure. Yeah, St. Juice was the one that gave up the touchdown to River Craycraft, or however you pronounce that name. But yes, the defense looks bad, but just keep it in perspective. We haven't seen the starting unit as a whole yet. We haven't, like, our star defensive tackles and our star middle linebacker and our starting strong safety hasn't played yet. We're seeing a mixed bag of who's starting at corner. We haven't seen the 2024 Washington Commanders yet. So I think everybody needs to take a big breath, a big exhale. What we're going to see at Tampa week 1 is nothing similar to what we're seeing right now. We're watching a bunch of watered down playbooks and a bunch of Manila meh. I can't wait till we get to the Giants because Almighty Finesse needs to be humbled. He needs to be humbled when Daniel Jones comes to town week 2 and we flash the quarterback that they wanted to trade for in their faces. Your quarterback and your GM was ready to do cartwheel, and your GM's son was ready to do backflips, throwing ass at our quarterback this offseason. And y'all gonna talk about our quarterback when Daniel Jones is yours. But it is what it is, man. Crowder might make the team. He might not make the team. Frankie Louvu's a baller. Hey, man. If you know anybody in the DMV that can kick a football, a soccer ball, can kick anything, get them to Ortho Virginia Training Center at Commanders Park right now. Washington loses a ugly, super nasty preseason game, 13-6. A bunch of nothing happened. The starters were sharp-ish on the offensive side, not so much on the defensive side. Not much else happened. We definitely need a kicker. Casimir Allen put the ball in the ground. Jamin Davis forced a turnover, and Trace McSorley stinks. That's about all I got for right now. Thank you for the 361 that pulled up in the chat and the over 7,000 people who watched my watch party. We're going to do it one more time to close out the preseason next week. And every time I'm not in the stadium this year, we're going to be going live for a full watch party and then a full post-game show after the game. But tonight, there's no much more reason to talk about this game. I need some food and some fluids in my system. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Thank you for pulling up. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out. Let's hope next